And then in a gathering where I shared that, like this one, someone stood and said, go to the bedroom, go and argue there, fight, then you come out and pretend. And I stood up again and I said, no. Children will always know when parents are not in good terms. They will know, even when you pretend to be mute or even to smile. They will know. Bedroom. I told them to remove the word room and leave bed and tell us its purpose.
Dr. Njue, it's your time. So how do you welcome our chief guest? Makofi ile ya Factorio. My big brother, I call him. He really empowers me. You can see how we contrast, eh? Yeah, so God bless you. Karibu sana.
So thank you. Let me request Daktari to carry this piece of handkerchief. I am not prepared to cry. Sorry, somebody. So thank you. I want to take this chance to thank Dr. Susan and all of you, and especially her for giving me the platform. I rarely get platforms. So when I get this one, and this is powerful, all the cameras focusing on me, focusing on this fellow in between here, because that is me in 1971. That is me. I was in class 1. And those are my brothers. So one is a senior police officer, and the other one is an engineer. So when we were there, nobody knew I would address you. So now, whether you like it or not, you have to listen to me. When you speak last, there are so many advantages. I want to encourage you, just listen to my story. Mine is not a story. Mine is the words of the chief guest. Then I have forgotten my water, so that I deliberately left it, so that somebody can bring it to me. This is feeling important. Yeah? A senior officer bringing me water. Wake up vizuri. If possible, if I need to sip, somebody should still lift and bring it here. So when we were starting in the morning, so that we can bring one another up to speed, we started somewhere with the national anthem, which we said is a prayer. The only mistake we did was we did not sing. We left the equipment to do it. In future, can you say a prayer, the national prayer, using your mouth, your mind, your body, your heart, so that you can say, Mungu, Mungu yetu. So I tried to whisper. I could whisper things about the anthem because I knew I would start there. So I did not want anyone to challenge me. The only thing is I was in front, therefore there was nobody here to see that my lips were moving. So in future, just do the anthem as a prayer, say it. Even if there will be the equipment to do it, that should only be a rhythm, but the words. Otherwise, this cannot praise God. Only us can use them to do that. And then the other one, which I can teach you kidogo, when you have a gathering like this, you do the national anthem, the first stanza only. I don't know whether you know that. First stanza only. If there was a president, we would still do one, if it is not a national activity. If it's a national activity, we do the 3. Then there is the East African anthem, because those are 2 repertoires. The East African also has 3 stanzas and a chorus. you also do one and the chorus. If there are two heads of state in a national activity, you do 2 stanzas and the chorus twice. If there are 3, then you do the 3. Did you know that? Did you think it would come from a boy like this? Did you think? So it is good to know that. And I want to also thank, I'm not moving a vote of thanks, but when you are the guest, nobody can stop you from saying what you want. I want to thank our speaker today, the preacher, Madam Mary. That was very powerful. And I picked a lot of notes about it, especially where God gives us what we command. Imagine God can take your command. God can take your command. You know who gives commands. Who gives commands? The boss. Imagine we are a boss. You can command that which you want, and God will hear. God will listen and award the command, or as per the command. Assignment, always greater than the ability. Those are very pertinent issues that we must learn. So today was a moment for learning, as much as it was a moment to empty oneself. It was a moment to listen and appreciate people. So that takes me to Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1, where with just through paraphrasing, time commands seasons. A season has been commanded that an activity called P2F gets launched today. A new season is in the offing, a P2F season. And we must rise to the occasion. When she was saying people must talk about you, the position I hold, I know people talk about me because I get to hear those stories from the grapevine. Because if they don't, I will be in the status quo. I also agree I talk about people. Currently, I'm talking about Mary Madheka. So I also talk about people. And through me, they will grow. So we grow one another. This is a wonderful season. I am a parent and a father of boys. And I am proud of my boys. We have been chatting as I sit here. And you saw me take a few photographs here. I posed here. I pretended also here that I'm speaking, and then I posted to them. You should see the comments they have given me, even before I have spoken. Because that is our relationship. Somebody was talking about Gen Z, or simply Generation Z. Generation Z feels so empowered and entitled. And that's where my sons are, some of them. So somebody should throw this phone away. I don't know how, so that it stops. They feel so entitled. I want to remind Gen Z, I hope we have some representation here, that currently we are also in Gen A, Generation Alpha. So they are soon also getting out of fashion, like we did. You know, when we say our times, those people don't take us seriously. So soon, they will get overtaken by Generation Alpha. So msitulete, we were also there. We were also there. And when Mr. Wanyoike was here, the gentleman who was here, I hope Alfred, if you noticed where his trouser was, the waist, it was somewhere where we used to do many years ago. And we felt great. We felt great. Some high waist. High waist. I never got the opportunity because I had no trouser. I believe Wanyoike did not have a trouser also. It is now that he got one. So he had to catch up and pick up the assignments he never completed. Because the assignment is always greater than the ability. So when I think about Francis is my friend. So Francis, allow me to talk about you so that you can be important. I think I would define Francis as a chapter, because through him, so many people are learning. So Francis and Charlotte and these people and Susan, they are a book that people will keep turning pages. So maybe it was destined, Francis, that you drink, you get to the mtaro, that your father falls sick, so that you become a relevant topic. Otherwise, why did it happen? And why was it you? And if Francis was to be asked, and don't answer this one, whom would you have wanted to be in your stead? I don't know how you would choose. So therefore, God knew that through you, so many lives will be changed as yours gets changed. Therefore, when you get there, this song that was dedicated to Dr. Susan, when you get there, also you will find me. When I get there, I expected to find you. If none of us finds the other, Francis, know that you are not in the right place, because I will be in the right one myself. So I feel those people who are sharing with us the space they have gone through, the pain, I think they were supposed to go through that. I will really not share mine, because the chief guest must not show a time when he was in pain. Because a chief guest should be very strong to give strength to the people who are weak. So I will not share any. I actually didn't have. I have always enjoyed. It has been a free ride. I can only share because of my experience with young people. I have had a student that's about 2 or 3 weeks ago who wrote a note and he wanted to commit suicide. And the reason was his father. Because his father has always said he is useless. I am sure you have heard that here. So he wrote a note and someone found it and brought it to me. And therefore I intervened. When I brought the two parents together, because they are alive, I don't know what R10 means. I hope it remains. I know I'm pretending not to know. Why are you telling me? You see now how one is harassed when you speak last. I will not take 10. Okay, I will take 9. This student, when the father arrives, says nothing. So finally, I did not see a lot of help coming from the same father. Then later to learn, the father was sacked. The mother is still working. So the father feels helpless, has resorted to drinking, and therefore he is telling his son he may also become useless. And this boy feels he should not live. Another one that I have shared with a few days ago tells his mother that I hate my father because he beats you. And then the mother tries to say, no, I'm not beaten because I am present. And then the boy interjects and says, remember when he slapped you on Christmas and I was present. And then in a gathering where I shared that, like this one, someone stood and said, go to the bedroom, go and argue there, fight, then you come out and pretend. And I stood up again and I said, no. Children will always know when parents are not in good terms. They will know, even when you pretend to be mute or even to smile. They will know. Because they are human beings, and then they are not your children. If they are your children, there is a special connection. So they will know things are not good. Number 2, I told them, bedroom. I told them to remove the word room and leave bed and tell us its purpose. Whether it is to fight or to lie and have the horizontal gymnastics. It's not to fight. Bedroom is a place of relaxation. Not a place to take the fight and then come out and pretend things are okay. Amen? Amen. Anyone with a bed here? Hands up, hands down. Use it properly. Use it properly. So bedroom matters, I call them bedroom matter, not matters. It is only one. It's only one. If your bed looks like mine, I don't know how yours looks like. And that is matter, it should be one. I think because I have now 8 minutes, I believe, that must be a Gen Z. See, entitlement. My sons ask me questions. I have never asked my father a question. It's only Kariuki who attempted, and he won. He was very wise when he tried to cancel his father, and he won. I have never tried. If he would get back to life, because he's late, angeona. Just to finish, because I don't want to be blamed. Someone talked about titles. The titles we get when we get to the bar. Chairman, boss, sonko, Someone told us, even when you are opening the bottle, the is an attempt to call you chief. Okay? It's an attempt. So when so the first one does not finish the word chief. So you ask for another bottle to see whether the second one, itamaliza. It does not. So you ask for another one. So you keep taking until you trying whether one will completely call you chief. So the institutions that we have, maybe it's time we also thought about the titles we should give the players in our arena. Maybe, so that people don't go for titles in the wrong places. Maybe even in church, let's see which titles can we give people that will make them feel important and recognized, rather than Baba Fulani, Mama Fulani. Maybe we are used to so much to those, and therefore we would feel good if we were given others. Of course, they should also be relevant. Children can also counsel us, as Kariuki demonstrated, and Wanyoike also demonstrated the same. When his son made him stop smoking. And my son also stopped me from throwing socks into the air. Because I would come from work and then sleep on the couch. When I say couch or sofa, that tells you informs you that I have one. So sleep there, remove the socks, then throw them into the corridor. Just throw. And I think my son observed this. Mark. Mark is known by Susan and Kariuki and Kina Charles. So and he observed, and he would also come from school very dirty. Socks is our total primary. And he would also get to the couch and lie there and throw. So he kept throwing until one day, as the mother left the kitchen through the door, she saw an item in the air. And these are dirty socks of a tiny boy. And then she reprimands him. How? Can you wake up and then he walks through it but says, Dad does the same. So that's why I'm also lying where he lies. So when I came, my wife now explains how I have trained the son bad manners. So I listened and I was told to stop him, and I did not. I only decided to stop throwing the basket and drop them, then go back to the coach, and he also started the same. So because we live with him somewhere, that is what we do up to date. And now we are old men. So wisdom and age are very different. And this was a statement from Wanyoike, that to be old does not mean you are wise. So I also learned from my son. This lady here, this is a wonderful lady, a very strong one. And she made us cry. I was only facing the front. And then I also realized I came without my handkerchief. Then nobody noticed. So nobody served me with the serviette to dry my face. So it dried. Because of, when you hear life stories. And this is why this initiative will grow. Because I want you to imagine how many people can be saved by talk. So if we keep quiet, somebody will keep struggling. And Charlotte was trying to say, even now, there could be a girl who is going through. And I was asking myself, most of the problems we are discussing are caused by men. Kwani tuko na shida gani? I think men are, I don't know how to describe them because I am one of them. But I want you to imagine the pain that we can cause to our own children. And especially when it is about sexual violence. Sexual violence. I don't know what guides us. Maybe that's a story for another day. When about the dopamine. Where is that, Ian? Dopamine issues come into play. The launch. What is a launch? A launch is just an English term that simply means set in motion. Set in motion. We want to set into motion. P to F. We want to push or we want to allow it to roll all of us here today so that it can go far and wide. We want to inaugurate an initiative that will help save hearts. Hearts. Finally, I will close with the 4H concept. When I mention heart, it takes me to the H. And I may not have used this, but before I use it, we want to provide a background interface to help organize and reach quickly, access as many people as possible. And finally, have a lasting peace. And therefore, this initiative must embrace three things. A high intention, very high intention, a very sincere effort, and a very intelligent execution. It must intelligently be executed because you need to handle people very carefully, like Charlotte. Otherwise, she can start crying, then you also start crying. So both of you cry. We need to cry intelligently. You know, intelligently is the way she was doing. So if you need a demonstration, it was done. Another one was done by Susan and her sister, her protector. It was done in a psychological way. And finally you embrace. Then somebody gives you, I think I should cry and karaoke will come around. And then we shall, so that we demonstrate. We demonstrate. I am simply saying intelligent execution because we must not flop. We must not flop in this initiative. We must win. And therefore we want to touch the head, the brain. We must touch the head. We must touch the heart. We must touch the hands because we shall handle. We shall handle. When people embrace, the hands are used. When you touch the back and, you know, when you serve a serviette, you know, the hands are getting used. When you greet someone, the hand is getting used. And finally, our health will be good. And that is the 4H concept. Head, heart, hands, and health, finally. Otherwise, health must come last. If the other three are not okay, then the final one is not okay. How do we do this? By turning the page. We must turn the page. From pain to fruitfulness. So pain is one page. 2 is the process, and then fruitfulness. We must turn the page like this. If I don't turn, it means I will not see what is next. By turning the page. That takes us to, because of Madam Mary Matheka, Psalm 30, verse 5. Psalm 30, verse 5. It talks about, for his anger endureth, but a moment of weeping may be there. Finally, there will be joy. Turn the page. So I want to encourage some of the people who are here. Like a statement that was very strong. The strongest statement I have heard is from Charlotte, who said she feels she has nothing to lose now apart from her life. I have nothing remaining to lose. I have lost everything. And we must tell her no. It is about turning the page. If she continues saying that, even the life you will lose. So because she must live to share her experiences and teach others. Bwana asifiwe. Oh, I never said I'm saved. That's why you are not taking me seriously when I say Psalms 30. You think the only saved person here is Madam Mary Matheka. We are many. We are many. There were these two old ladies who suffered stroke. They suffered stroke. One of them was struck on the left side. The other one was struck on the right. They only met somewhere later. And they were both pianists. They were playing piano. You need your both hands. But when they met, they realized, oh, your problem is on the left, mine is on the right. So if we sit together, we shall play piano. And they rekindled their piano plays, and they enjoyed life and lived much more than they ever thought. So we can partner today with those who are suffering this way and those who are suffering the other way. And then we shall have some glue that will put us together. And that way we shall achieve our purposes. So before I declare this officially closed, so you see I had tried to put some madoido. And I wanted people to know we are at Thika Greens. I have never come here, by the way. This is the first time. This is my first time. I only pass by. So I tell people nimepita hapa karibu na golf. But I have never come here. Free from and pursue. Free from pain and pursue fruitfulness. This we must do. We must do. I am also trying to bring out the meaning of that verse. 2 Timothy, and this is a topic, a verse you cannot forget. 2. Some people are very poor at knowing verses like I am. This is 2 Timothy 2:22. Free from, and then pursue. And I want to add, and overtake. And overtake. And therefore I thought this is pain to fruitfulness. Pain to fruitfulness. I wanted to bring out a pictorial imagery so that those who could be tired now can see some photographs, like you were admiring her when she was educating using imagery. And I also tried to define pain. And I thought P can be a pestilence. You know, a pestilence is a pandemic. Like we had the COVID-19 pandemic, pestilence, piteous, from the word pity, and poisonous. If you allow pain to be in you, it will poison the body. And it will poison 3 things, and finally the 4th one, and you will be finished. It will poison the brain, it will poison the heart, it will poison the hands, you will also not work, and finally your health is done. So it is something we must free from. Pain can be an addiction. You can learn to live in pain, like people who suffer terminal illnesses. They will tell you, it has become like an addiction to them. And every kind of addiction is not good. Every kind of addiction. There is no addiction that is good. And then of pain becomes an impediment. Pain becomes an impasse, an impairment. Meaning it prevents you from growth. And finally, it becomes a nemesis, the end of you. It becomes the end. It's like you've declared, I am finished. So I believe we can be productive when we identify the pain, the cause, the source, then we deal with it. We deal with it. Finally, we shall be productive and there will be success. Causes of pain, we don't need to go through them. These are just a few that I thought. So there are many. But when you look at this, childhood trauma, sexual and gender-based violence, addiction, betrayal, and if you look at it, utakuta kuna kitu kidogo niliona ndani yake, relationships. There is the concept of relationships. Childhood trauma, lazima kuna relationship. Family, ama relative, ama neighbor, kuna kitu ya relationship. Sexual and gender-based, there is relationship. There is relationship, even intimacy, even if it is negative. Then in violence, there is an exchange, there is a relationship. And even in addiction, there is a relationship. Who gives you the drug? Who is peddling? Who is training you to start? There is a relationship. My friend, my peers, my father, I saw who. There is a relationship in betrayal. When you feel betrayed, it means there is another party on the other side. So in the arena of pain, the player is never alone. There is somebody else. And therefore, that's why pain becomes much more painful, especially when you look back. When someone stabs you at the back, when you look back, what pains you more is not the knife. It is who is holding the knife. It's my wife. It is my son. It is my mother. It is my father. The person you thought would be the first to prevent that pain. And then depression, failure, job sack. There is some concept of relationship when there is pain. That is why using the same relationship, you can find yourself on the other side of the page by identifying another trustworthy relationship. One with God and with others. Tell the same God, now give me who else I should relate with. So that when Mr. Karaoke comes, my point of reference will be heaven. Kindly, Mungu, download the CV of this fellow before I relate again. Ni downloadie hii ya huyu. Zusani akitokea niteremshie. Uzuri Mungu hakosi bundles. Sisi ndio tuko na shida za bundles. So as we get there, just to mention something. There is some topic I love that I call lifting the lead. Lifting the lead. I have written it there. So we have not launched. We are talking of the launch. P2F, lifting the lead. Lifting the lead is what Charlotte was doing. That's what Francis was doing. That's what Susan was doing by saying exactly what happened to them. Lifting the lead, we know the lead, yes, sufuria. When you lift it, you separate it from the sufuria. And therefore, you can easily see the inside. So it is like spilling the beans. Spilling the beans. Bringing it out clear, you know. And that is what they were doing. Even when Dr. Susan was telling them, tell us what you want us to hear. If there is anything else, they can follow your page. If you ask me, my own assessment, they left nothing. What else would you think they would have said? That was supposed to be heard, and the other one was not supposed to be heard. They left nothing. They lifted the lead. So in P2F, we want to keep telling people to lift the lead. Spill the beans. Say, my father rapes me. My mother beats me. My brother, my what. Speak it out, because that's the only way you will get help. So now that I have also been told to stop, I stop instantly. So God bless you all. And if there is some gap where you are organizing something and there is no guest, I am here. Yours for the asking.